to another episode of Outcasts to Icons. And as always, guys, if you are enjoying the series, please do leave a like on the episode now. Oh, I am so fucking happy to do this episode. I could not wait to start recording because I think we might have finally found a tactic that works. Now, I'm not going to suggest, I mean, feel free to take the tactic, because I think those of you that would have seen the last episode, no, I haven't changed anything since then. So if you want to take the tactic from that, I'm not going to put it up online or anything, because I'm not really that sure about it, but if you want to take it and try it out yourself, please do, and I'll be curious to see how you get on with it, because what I think might be the case is I think what this tactic is, like, I don't think it would work for like a big team or just a random team if you were to dump it. I've not managed to test it out. I've got another save. I have like a Seattle Sounders save that I do offline to test tactics on. And so I might try it on that later today just to see whether it works on that. But I think what it might be is a case of us just getting the best out of the players we have. And that was kind of what I wanted when I built the tactic, was to just try and exploit every little thing that we had in our team as a positive and try to compensate for any weaknesses we had in the team. And I cannot think of a better way to have this season start, genuinely. Like, the win in the first game against Astana, for me, you know, that set the stall out. But in so doing, what it actually kind of did was it allowed me to stumble on something that I wasn't doing in preseason, because in preseason I was using it on control and we were playing well, don't get me wrong, against poor teams. But when we played against Astana, we had to use it on counter just because I figured, I know we're at home, but they're a good team, and we see if we could try it out on counter, because those are the two sort of tactics, you know, with that sort of system, you can get away with it. And since then, I've used it on counter in every single game we've played, and it just seems to get better and better. And I genuinely don't think that control is even an option for this tactic anymore. I think counter is perfect, because the great thing about being on counter is that when we go in front of these games, which we have done quite often, we're already set up then to defend the lead, and then it actually just makes it easier for us. If we can get ourselves in front in these games, it makes it easier for us to get the second goal, because then they have to come out and attack us, and it leaves spaces for our sort of swarm of players coming forward, particularly down that right-hand side. So I'm just so happy with the way things are going right now. Anyway, so I wanted to just sort of let you guys in on the sort of plan for where we're going to go with this. So I've got some other stuff I want to talk about based on, you know, reading comments and stuff like that, but I'm going to get onto that in a second. I've kind of got a list that I'm going to work my way through. So, talking about the plans, basically, this season the plan is obviously just to fulfill the expectations of the board, i.e. get into the top 6. And next season, I genuinely think that if we can keep the tactic working well and bring in some more players that fit the roles that I have for this tactic better than what we already have and play to our strengths, we could maybe even mount a title challenge, genuinely. Now, I know at the moment it says we're top, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sure that I think, you know, as some injuries come in, and we've already had a few, as you can see from the sidebar, that could be a little bit more difficult for us later down the line. So I'm not exactly expecting that. But I still think that maybe we could do a little bit better than 6th. I'm hoping that we can maybe get 3rd or 4th. That's a sort of pessimistic, optimistic kind of, well, that's two different words, Matt. That's a sort of optimistic, but still erring on the side of caution kind of approach. So that's the sort of plan. Now, I think we could have a couple of good seasons here. So that's really good, and I think this could be the start of some success. Now, if we then moved clubs, obviously I'd bring the tactic with us, but I don't think there's any guarantee that this tactic would work for another team, so I might have to then do the same thing again. And I have no problem doing that when we change teams every sort of couple of years, because it's actually quite fun, and I tell you what, it makes the game a hell of a lot more fun. I was really starting to not get bored of it, because obviously I wasn't bored, it was still fun doing the save, but I think when you've got your own tactic that you've kind of built from scratch yourself, it kind of does give you that little bit extra sort of incentive to try and win the games, and not try and win the games, but like have that kind of it makes you feel a lot better when things go right, but it also means that you kind of can learn from your mistakes when things go wrong, and it's much easier to try and fix things. That's sort of what I've picked up from doing this so far. Other thing is, when talking about my mental stats and that a couple of episodes ago, I got a lot of comments saying, well, I got one particular comment which got a ridiculous amount of likes, about me using the editor to change my stats every now and then. Now, I understand exactly where you're coming from with that. I really, really do. But that cannot work for 2 reasons. The main reason is that I literally have this save. You know, you can tick prevent use of editor when you start a save, and I always do that for all my YouTube saves. Just because, not that I would ever use the editor anyway, but my point is that I want to make sure that there's no sort of like hint that I would use the editor, if that makes sense. So I make sure that it's just turned off and it's blocked, so to speak. And the second thing is, if I was to use the editor for one little thing and do that, it could anyone that wanted to then could call into question anything I did for the entirety of my saves on YouTube, and it's just not something I'm willing to take the risk of doing, if that makes sense. And I'm sure you can understand why that's the case, because the fact is, I don't want that, and we're just going to have to deal with it the best we can. And the fact is, at the moment, we look like we're pulling things out, and maybe just winning some games will help us. I've noticed that our motivation has actually gone up by 1. It's now a 5. I'm pretty certain it was a 5, because we've now got our next coaching badges, which brings me on to my next point. The board will not pay for my my coaching badges. I went to them after we got our continental C license and said, right, let's go and get my B license. And they said, nope, we need you at the club. So they're not going to fund me, which is really annoying, because this is the most richest financially stable club we've been at so far, and they're refusing to fund my coaching badges. Hopefully we can try them again later, and maybe they'll give us, I don't know, maybe if we do it after the season's finished, then maybe they'll let us do it then. I really bloody hope so, because I don't want to get stuck on the coaching badges I've got. Also, in yesterday's episode, I feel like I speak quite fast generally, and I have been criticised for that in the past. It's just really difficult to change the way that you actually speak when you're doing these videos, because sometimes you just get so into it that you kind of don't have a choice, and you kind of subconsciously do it. But yesterday, I felt like I was speaking much faster than even I usually do. Now, 2 reasons for that. Firstly, I had a massive cup of coffee about 15 minutes before I recorded that episode, and I've been working ridiculously hard yesterday on, obviously, this stuff, but also other work, and yeah, I was hyper as shit. I was hanging off the ceiling, kind of like levels of hyper, so that's why I was talking so damn fast. But secondly, because I had so much information that I wanted to get out about the way what I wanted for the tactic and all this stuff, and it kind of been floating around in my head for hours, and it was like I was almost venting, I suppose. So that's why I was speaking so fast, because my brain was getting all this stuff out and my mouth couldn't keep up, and it was, that's basically what it was. So apologies for that. I will try to speak a little bit slower in future. I no doubt put a note on the last episode about that as well. Next is what else have we got here? Brilliant. Because I'm doing press conferences now, which is always good. I got a press conference thing asking me. This was after the Kyzyl-Zhar game. So we're top of the league at this point and playing well against big sides. And the question was, this team looks nailed on for relegation. Do you think you're going to be able to stay up? And the only answer I could give that wasn't, we're going to do our best, but we're probably going to get relegated, was we might just keep our heads above water. No, I think we'll probably be just fine, actually, you dicks. But hey, we're the underdogs, and I like that kind of role. So let's get into the games this month. Apologies for the little bit of a chat there. I just wanted to sort of run through a few things. Well, that's quite hard to say for some reason. Right, first game, Ep.30. Now, we're at home, and I was a little bit worried with this one, because obviously when you go into these games, as you can see, we deserved what we got from this game, and their only shot on target of the entire match was the penalty, which was disappointing. Eugene Pavlov, I think it probably was a penalty, but I was still disappointed with the fact that we gave away the pissing penalty. Thankfully, Milan Vlasajevic managed to give us an equaliser, and it was a 1-1 draw, and I thought, well, a point away at Ep.30, who aren't one of the better sides. I think they were like the 6th place team, or 5th. They were still in that top 6, though, so we've played a lot of the better sides so far, and that's positive for me. Played relatively well. Possession, as you can see, still off the charts. I like to keep above 60 if we can, but against some of the bigger teams, it's just not going to be possible. But as long as we have a decent amount of possession, more than them, and decent pass completion, we seem to be doing all right in games. We committed quite a few fouls in this one, which is actually somewhat against us. We've actually conceded a lot less fouls than just about anyone else in the league in games, and that's fantastic to see. We actually got a question in an interview about how little we were conceding fouls, which is brilliant. Because it means we're not conceding free kicks, and that's just glorious. So good, a 1-1 draw, lovely stuff. Next up, we came against the reigning champions Kairat, and I could not believe this. Now, this was a bit of luck on our part, but I still feel that we deserved it in some respects. We got a penalty this time, so a little bit of luck returned to us, and Makshak Kabazov gave us the lead before Mataya Botani, really, really lucky. The ball was crossed in by Kukarchuk, and it basically deflected off of Mataya Botani and went in. So I think we were lucky to get ourselves in front. And then Alexander Makarchuk got one back for Kairat. But if I recall, we actually weren't bad in this one. Look at this. They had a lot of shots, but most of them were from long range. We had 5 half chances, 1 clear cut. They didn't really create a lot. Our pass completion was a little low in this one, but still better than theirs, and that's most important, as long as it's better. We weren't perfect, but we grinded out the win. Slight knock there for Lovyenko and obviously Botani. Now, the annoying thing is, Piev came back from injury, Then the moment I was about to play him, he got the flu, so he missed 8 days. And then while he had the flu, he then somehow managed to twist the knee and is out for another 4 to 5 weeks. And I think he's just resumed training again. He will play for us at some point this season, I promise. So we won against Kairat, and that was huge for me, because that's 2 home wins on the bounce against good sides, like the top 2 last season. And then we had ourselves an away game against Ep.30. Now, Ep.30 are the only team that we've played so far that weren't in the top 6 from last season. And that, for me, you know, this one, probably one of our toughest games if you look at it in terms of the stats for this one. Like, Marjanovic gave us the lead on 9 minutes with a wonderful header, well crossed in by Kakarchuk. But from then on, we kind of just, I mean, obviously we did our counter-attacking style, and as you can see, lots of possession, and only 6 fouls in this game, no yellow cards. And, yeah, El Mozaev actually got sent off for diving. It never happens in real life, and I've seen it so many times on FN, players get sent off for diving. But actually, they were not bad after that. The most of their good play, they got 2 clear-cut chances after he was sent off, because they just must have gone to overload. But the point is, we held on and got the clean sheet, and an away win there is huge, because I'm pretty certain we lost there like 3-1 in our first game in charge, so that's a little bit of revenge for me. Next up, though, I just couldn't believe it. Like, this tactic seems to work well against a variety of systems as well. That's my thing. Like, I tested it against 4-3-3 because well, I say tested it. We haven't tested it against 4-3-3. Our first game was against a team that played 4-3-3, and all our tests suggested that it could work well against those sort of V formations and 4-4-2s. But what I wasn't sure about was a 4-5-1. Now, Kyzyl-Zhar play a 4-5-1 system, and as you can see, oh, lovely. Now, in this one is one of the few games that we've actually had less possession than them, and managed to come out with a very, very solid win. Like, as much as they had a lot of shots, more than us, we had more on target, and we were very, very clinical in this one. Emil Kenysariev gave us the lead before Ilya Kakarchuk made it 2-0. Then we got a bit lucky with a penalty, and Marjanovic was able to just dispatch that before Tungushbayev made it 4-0. And I think just looking at the stats for this game, once again, though, 4 clear-cut chances to 1 on there. You know, that's the thing. And our pass completion was only slightly better than theirs. So what I'm saying is, against teams, but look at their cross completion, 0. They just had nothing out wide, and that was kind of the big deal in that game for me. So against 4-5-1, sometimes against the better ones, we're going to surrender a bit more possession, but clearly we've still got other options, which is great. And next up, this was just the best one so far, because Shakhtar Karagandy, for me, are one of the better teams in this country. I don't know, I'm pretty sure they played Celtic in the Europa League or Champions League, I think it was Europa League, a couple of seasons ago, and did fairly well, and only just went out. Slight downside to this game, though, was the 3 injuries that we suffered. We actually had to sub again. But look at this performance. I mean, we were brilliant against them. More possession, which is fine. And again, they played a 4-5-1 at home, which is really strange. And then they switched to a really narrow diamond, which, again, we defended against perfectly. But again, in this game, look, 19 fouls they committed, and we only had 5. We've got, like, one of the lowest yellow card ratings, which means no suspensions. It's all looking good. Kabazov scored a wonderful goal, slipped into him by the striker. He just overlapped, which is what I haven't seen him do as much. And then Mateo Botani made it 2-0, and we just hung on. Jarulyov went off injured, but oddly, he was the only one that isn't out. Like, Mazriku's going to be out for a couple of weeks, and his replacement, who came off the bench, Nedashkovsky, is also going to be out, which is a bit of a shame. So we've had to sort of shuffle a few things around at the moment, but another clean sheet, another solid win, and the league now looks like this. We are 3 points clear at the top off of Astana, the only team who we beat this year, and their only defeat was against us. We're still unbeaten. We've got not quite the best goal scoring record, but we've got the best defence, and that's something I can rarely ever say. Also, when you look at the average ratings, really, really solid for Kakarchuk. His assists are fantastic. Clean sheets were up there as well. Most player of the match was 4 in 6 matches for him. He's just the go-to guy. Also, in terms of pass completion, he's right up there. Also, Marjanovic has got like the best key pass rating in this division by what I would appear to be I'm certain he's got it. Let me just check. Have a little gander here. Key passes, that's what I wanted. Yeah, key pass. Look at that, 30 key passes, and the next one is 18. He's having a lovely time so far, and I'm really, really enjoying his performances, considering he's the shadow striker, not the attacking playmaker. So I'm just wondering if there's maybe something we could do with that at some point, but at the moment I don't want to change it because it's working. So anyway, without further ado, let's take a little gander at the stats. So top goal scorer is, of course, Kakarchuk with 3. Now, everyone's kind of getting goals. Nobody's really standing out for us at the moment, and I'm fine with that at the moment, but I would like someone to sort of step up and get a few goals as a striker, because Tungushbayev, just not really hitting it for me just yet. Assists-wise, Kakarchuk again with 4. Player of the matches, once again with 4. Pass completion, Botani's around about 84, which is fairly solid for me. Kukachuk also has the most average dribbles per game in the league by a long shot, which is great. Average rating, Kukachuk with an 8.08, which is fantastic. Key aerial challenges, 15 for Kotov, which is what he wants. Key passes, 30. Key tackles, just the 4 for Lovrenyenko. And interceptions, of course, 61 already. And, of course, value is Dimitrenko. So, let's get into this. I don't know what type of system they're going to play. Hopefully... Oh, it's 4-5-1. Now, the thing is, I'm tempted to... Like, I was thinking about using control, but we've done so well with counter. I know they're a poor side, but I'm just wondering, if we use counter against them today, can we maybe just continue our run? Maybe our system is just a counter-attacking style of system. Maybe that's just how it's going to be. So, right, we're going to have to move some stuff around here. Tungush Bayev is going to start up top. He has some stats that work better. His sort of finishing stats are better, but... Vlasieljevic has got better sort of mentals and physicals, so it's a bit of a catch-22. Kyzyl-Zhar is probably going to have to play out wide, which is a little bit disappointing, but he's good at free kicks, so that is a sort of added bonus. Also, guys, those of you who read strikerless.com will know that they've got a new setup for long throws that might be worth checking out, and if you don't, you should, if you're struggling and want to try and maybe get some goals from long throws, because sometimes it is just a game of throw-ins. Yes, that was a pun. Then... go check that out on their website. There's a link to their corner tactic in the description below, and you should be able to find the throwing tactic from there as well. So, Marjanovic, no, we want him as the shadow striker. It always does that, but for me, I just don't understand why. Kotov, Duisen... I noticed that my assistant started liking Duisen as well now, so that's good. I think I was valid in my support of him. Right, let's just go for this, guys. Also, something else I've noticed. My assistant has disappeared again. I can't get pre-match instructions again. I had them for the friendlies, and I had them for the first game of the season, but since then they've disappeared again, and I do not know why. It just seems to be... Oh, hello. I haven't left him out again. He's being rested. It's really, really strange. Look, it's gone again. I don't understand why. Maybe it's just because we're managing in these leagues, but I don't know why that would be the case. It's really, really weird. Juliarov is probably going to have to come off for Fedorov at some point, but we do have him to come off the... I hope we do. Yeah, we do. Okay, good. Because he is sort of his natural heir, if you look. Like, he's got the same kind of play, but again, because people like Juliarov, he's 31 years old, Piev's 35, Marjanovic is going to be 32. In the summer, we're going to need a good old clear out to bring in some, and plus a lot of them taking up our foreign quota, so we should be able to get some really top-notch foreign players to fill their shoes. Obviously, we're going to try and bring through some Kazakhstani or Kazakh quality as well, but we've got a quota of foreign players. We may as well use it since the other teams are as well. What about that for Juliarov? He's just... I still don't know exactly how to pronounce his name, but I'm doing my best. They've actually had the one shot of the game so far, but it's not really... It's a bit early to tell. Kyzyl-Zhar out wide. Can he keep it in? He can. Ball into the box, perhaps. All the way across. It's come to the back post, and... Oh, how has he missed that? How has Kukachuk not put that in the back of the net after 4 minutes? That was the golden opportunity so far. Possession is massively in our favour again, though. Pass completion is good. Right, we're starting to take control of the match now, and that's fine by me. It's amazing that we can have that kind of possession and pass completion and the amount of shots we're having when we're playing a counter-attacking style, especially against weak teams who are no doubt shutting up shop. It's really weird. I think we've sort of stumbled upon a really decent counter-attacking tactic, almost by accident. Kukachuk, can he get the ball inside? Tungush Bayev, will he shoot? Because Bayev's got the ball, but can he pick a pass? There's swarming all over. Oh, it's in the back of his own net. Musayev, and it's 1-0 to us. I mean, we didn't really do anything to deserve that. A good ball put in, I suppose. We do lead by a goal to nil. At the moment, we'll be 5 points clear at the top of the league. I'm in shock, really, as to how well this season is going. I mean, there's the off chance that there's a lot less games. Is there a chance that we could win the league this year? Or will we at least... What do you think? Do you think we've got enough in us to win the league this year? I mean, that would be quite something. We're predicted to be 8th place. That's the season preview. 100-1 to win this division. Kyzyl-Zhar, he's good for it. Oh, what a hit. One thing about having him in the team is he can score free kicks, and we've not really got a good free kick taker when he's not in the team, but he's just not really good enough to play from the start of most matches. He's sort of a... Oh, Tungush Bayev, what a save again. Yeah, we're all over them at the moment, and we do need to get that second goal, though. We've already hit the post 3 times today. Couple of good clear-cut chances, tons of possession, ball through again, Kukachuk. That's poor from him. Tungush Bayev, Marjanovic, and again, Botani. We need a second goal. We absolutely need a second goal. Botani, Kukachuk coming in field again. He's got to shoot. Marjanovic doesn't... Oh, I wish he'd shot there, actually, but I suppose it's sort of all part of our work ball into the box tactic. Keeping it safely. We should have scored there. We're doing really, really well. We're actually playing better now. We're just going to... than we did in our friendlies against the lower division team. And that's impressive, because they were basically putting up no fight, whereas these guys are actually trying. And perhaps the fact that they're actually trying to come at us, I suppose, or are they really, is maybe what's making the difference. Now, my usual substitution, we're going to go 65 minutes. Kyzyl-Zhar is going to come off, and we'll bring on Fedorov by this point. I'd like to hope that we've got a second goal, because I can't believe that the game's gone to where it is, and we've actually only scored an own goal. I say we've scored, you know what I mean? They're bound to change something, right? They've gone 4-4-2 now, but this tactic works pretty well against 4-4-2 as well. We've yet to actually come up against one from the start of a game, but every time a team has switched to 4-4-2, it's been fairly solid. I mean, that's a shot on target for them, fair play, but they're mostly shooting from range, and I'm happy to let them do that. Oh, it's through here, Tungashbev. What a block that was, and another good opportunity for us. Our shot accuracy was one of the other problems I was having, but we're getting it up closer towards 50% now, whereas before I was having a trouble getting it above sort of 33%, and that's just unacceptable. It's certainly a lot higher, and I think the slower tempo certainly helps with that. Don't let them break on you. Thankfully, the bonus about being at home is that it's really difficult to break on us, because the pitch is so small that it doesn't exactly take a lot of it doesn't exactly take a great deal of effort to get back and cover, basically. Piev is available, and I might bring him on at some point if Botani... Wow, strikers are not having a good day. They're getting notoriously low ratings, which means that I'm wondering if there's some way we can... I'm going to try and... Actually, I'm going to make 2 subs here, because he's not having the best game, and I'll save my other sub to bring off Botani and get Piev a little run out, possibly around the 80th minute, but we do still need a second goal to really sub this. But look at that. Our passing completion is literally 80 to 60, and possession is massively in our favour. Not that those stats are the be-all and end-all, but my point is, if we've got those, our tactic seems to work well. That's the way I'm looking at it. Now, we're going to bring on Piev for Botani, just to give him a little rest here and finish off the game, hopefully. I mean, a 1-0 win is not exactly brilliant, but when you look at the stats, we should have more goals. The issue would be if they were to get a late equaliser. That would really annoy me, frankly. Fedorov, can he whip the ball back for someone? Kozbayev, there's another shot on Kyzyl-Zhar, there we go. That's 2-0, and that's comfortable now. This is what it's been like. It's been a joy to watch this. Look at the amount of throw-ins we've had, 52. It's crazy. Kozbayev, that's one hell of a pick out from him, and Kyzyl-Zhar not off the bench, but starting the game in place, and there we go. 2-0 up here. And bear in mind, we've played most of the big sides already. Like, we've got a little run against some of the smaller sides in this league now, teams like this, and if we can win a few of those games, we could give ourselves a real lead at the top of this division. It's crazy to even think about it. Kyzyl-Zhar, that's a poor touch from him. But again, cleared up the pitch, but as you can see, there's just nowhere for them to go. A 2-0 win here, another clean sheet as well. That's another thing this system seems to give us. We've only conceded 2 goals in our first 7 matches, and I think we've not conceded in like 5 matches now. It's just, I don't know. I'm ecstatic with the performance. I can't believe it. And our next game is against Astana, who are one of the bottom 2. Oh, Ep.30 are having a terrible time of it as well, I should point out. So there you go. I mean, we've beaten Kairat, beaten Kyzyl, beaten Astana, beaten Shakhtar, beaten Irtish. It's a wonderful start from us, and I wonder if there an outside chance of us winning the league. I know we're 5 points clear, but you can't rest on your laurels with these things. And we've got a cup match against the lower division team next. I'm going to rest team players massively for that one. You know, maybe we could have a cup run too. Hey, who knows? So I'm just feeling really positive about this at the moment, just because everything seems to be going so damn well. It's just nice to see us win some games for once. And that's 2 live comms in a row. We've actually bloody won. Let's see. Let's pick a game for the next one. Let's pick a difficult team at home. Ep.30 would be good, but there's not enough games in between. Tell you what we'll do. Let's do Kairat away from home. That's going to be a really tough one for us, and it'd be good to see us test ourselves against a really tough team away from home, because they're going to be the main rivals, you'd think, at some point, if we are to try and win this league. So, yeah, let's do the Kairat away from home. That will be really, really tough, and let's see what we've got in between them. We've got Astana and Jetsu, the 2 bottom clubs, away from home. If we can win both of those, which I feel like we've got it in us, we've got Ep.30 who are struggling, and then another game away against one of the poorer teams, and then, yeah, so most of the poorer sides as well, we've been playing away from home, which means we've got home games against them to come. I'm happy, let's say. Anyway, guys, if you like what you've seen, please do drop a like on the video, and if you'd like to even more than that, please subscribe to my channel for more Red Star and Outcast icons, hopefully more like this, in your inbox every single day at 5:30 and 8 o'clock. And I will see you guys in the next episode for what could, in theory, be a top-of-the-table clash against Kairat. So I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.